Play-Doh Aesthetics Corp. This is Made in House. It's the show where we chat through various topics on design, culture, and the business of creativity. Now say hello and welcome Kary and Angel.
All right.
Baby.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you want to keep that in? Okay. Am I introing or you're introing?
You're introing, babe. Go ahead.
Did you do that to annoy me? Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome to Made in House. Angel, welcome back. And to me, welcome back.
Together. We're doing this together.
Welcome back. How are you doing today, babe?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Angel's being funny. We have some bloopers of things that annoy me.
Kary says I'm being funny, but what she really means is difficult.
No, you're being funny. You're doing good?
I'm doing good.
Okay. So, baby.
Good to be back together.
Yeah. We've been busy in the last few weeks. You launched a new collection or drop for Gaiad, which I am wearing. You guys have seen the long sleeve before, but not the sweatpants. And I'm wearing this set. And you also have a hoodie that you made.
Yeah.
That's part of the same set. And guys, I know he's my husband. I love him a lot. But I'm pretty honest when
Too honest, I want to say sometimes.
But this set, these sweatpants, literally, I'm obsessed with them. And they're jammies, literally. Like, I wear them all the time. They're so comfy and they make me happy. So if you're into sweatpants, if you're into being comfy, if you're into loungewear, if you work from home and you just want to look good for a meeting, but still be comfy, these are for you. Promise.
If you love aesthetics.
Yes.
These are for you.
I'm just in the comfort zone. I'm like in jams right now.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. So
Thank you for the plug.
Good
Starting
job.
strong with a Gaiad plug. I really appreciate it.
I mean it. Angel's attention to detail when he makes his clothes is really awesome. So
sometimes to a fault, Sometimes I don't even make stuff because I don't know.
Right.
Something I don't like it.
Like what you're wearing.
Like what I'm wearing right now. Just a good example.
This was a sample that we did. And it's a very cool concept because the back of it says creativity can save the world.
Yeah.
And then you have all these globes.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
We should one day we'll do fit check again. We haven't done fit check in a while, but just good to be back together.
Yes.
And I know we've had some guest house episodes and they were really great. Really learned a lot from your friends. Interesting because a lot of our guest in house episodes tend to be the longest just because when you're chatting with friends, you just kind of, go off the rails a little bit and but it's good. It's good. So
thank you, Grizzly. We call him Grizzly. His name is Chris. Chris from Grizzly. And thank you, Manu, for being part of the podcast. We value and appreciate all of your insight and your life experience. And guys, the reason why we bring our friends on here is because we just want you guys to hear different perspectives and different stories and how things unfold for people. I think that when you look at somebody's life, that's why we have autobiographies. Like right now, I'm reading the autobiography of Steve Jobs.
So cool.
The reason sometimes I'm just an insider. Sometimes Angel moves a certain way where I'm not sure if something's wrong. So he just moved and I'm like, did something happen?
Well, because Kary was also watching the iPhone 3. Was it? No, sorry. Was it the iPhone? Which one was it? The first iPhone ever?
I was watching the phone. Yeah, the keynote for the
keynote for the iPhone, man. And that thing was so freaking cool.
I'm weird. Like I study people.
Yeah.
And so I was watching the keynote to see how he talked about how he introduced it and the words that he used and whatever. I thought it was cool.
It was super cool.
So anyway, people's lives and stories, they matter. And so that's why we bring them on into guest house.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Are you good?
I'm great. Great. We haven't done this in a while. It's been so long. It's been so many episodes that I get a little rusty. But
okay.
We want to thank
our members,
our housemates, House Nation.
Cheers to our housemates. Here.
Oh, sorry. I was doing a gang sign.
Cheers to you. Thanks for being part of our home and our, is that
Yeah, and supporting this project. Really appreciate you guys just being here with us, and hopefully we're I think we say this every time, we want to continue being of value and providing you guys value, giving you assets and resources and things like that. And appreciate you guys just helping us build community.
Yeah.
I was saying House Nation.
You just reminded me. I keep forgetting that I did a class 2 weeks ago. And you reminded me because you're talking about resources. I keep forgetting that I did this. And I was telling Angel, I was like, wow, I totally forgot to talk about this in the podcast. But I taught my first live class 2 weeks ago. And it was...
Clap, babe.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, you did
Thanks
great.
to everybody who was there. I was really happy with myself, mainly because I set a goal to do it. And then I kind of hit all the goals that I wanted to hit. And it was really cool. I think I wanted to launch a course. I've been talking about launching courses on here for a while. So I wanted to launch something under my name before the end of the year, which is really scary for me. I've never done that. It's always been under our name or under Angel's name. I've never done anything under mine. And so then I set a goal to get 20 students in the class, and a total of 31 people signed up, and 27 showed up to the class, and we had a really great time. You were there.
Yeah.
You made it look like a Twitch episode is what everybody tells me.
Got the lighting situation pretty locked down.
And I taught on the creative process. And I got such good feedback that I just ended up putting the class up on demand. So it's on my
just like that
on my website. Yeah, it's on my website, and it's available to you if you're interested in learning how we do creative work.
Right.
Because we've learned along the way that creativity is a playground, right? We want to have fun, but you need certain boundaries and rules to be able to.
Yeah, where did that come from? That was such a cool analogy.
Well, I think you and I have used the analogy of playground for creativity for a long time, since 2017 maybe, because we used it for Arcadia. Remember, we used to talk about Arcadia was a merch project that we started a few years ago. We used to call Arcadia our creative playground because that was where we got to get all this stuff that we wanted to do out, because we couldn't do it with our client work necessarily. Right. And so I don't know. You know how that I got that specific way of phrasing it, I got it in the VU staff meeting. Sometimes when I'm like in God's presence, I just get like certain downloads.
So
and
cool,
I just
man.
like write them.
So the analogy is,
creativity is a playground, but even playgrounds have
boundaries
and rules. You go to a playground, there's a little sign with it, and then there's a boundary, And so
of like cushy.
Play, there's a method to your play, and that's what the creative process is.
Wow, there's a method to your play?
Method to your play. Wow. Yes, so
really good.
If you're interested, Della, hook it up. Por aquí,
what is it?
A little lower third.
Put what's the website?
Karyelis.com.
Karyelis.com.
Yep.
And put her somewhere here, Della.
All right, friends. For today, we are going to do a relationship talk. We've never done it.
Yay! We're going to talk about relationships.
Yeah. Our relationship.
Oh, sorry. Our relationship.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And so we wanted to just share some of our wisdom, things that we've learned through our 12 years together. So,
but before that,
yes, what are we doing?
We got a new segment called What in the World?
Say it in Japanese.
Shinku Hashimoto. And we got some Della, I'm gonna need some music. I don't know what kind of music we're gonna put for What in the World, but
something that's like
do you like
Japanese.
that? Do you like that segment?
It is what
I just
it
came
is.
up
You
with
did
it.
it already.
What in the World? It just makes
did
sense because then we can eat snacks from all over the world,
They're just Japanese snacks.
I know, but what I'm saying is what we'll do is again and we'll try other. You see?
You're good.
I'm like,
you are good.
I'm a YouTuber, bro. So we want to send a special shout out to Sadie, who's actually here with us.
Yeah.
And I wish, can I turn the, oh man, I can't turn the camera.
Oh,
okay, can you record Sadie recording so that we can add her? Della, whatever she's recording, just add it in like a PIP somewhere in the middle. There she is. And we got she gave us these snacks. I don't know where she got them from, but she gave us
Jonah for Christmas.
Oh, for Christmas, right?
They gifted us an entire. It was like this
Freaking
big bag of
box
snacks.
of Japanese snacks. Don't you? Is there more, or is
there's more
that?
here.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot, guys.
There we go.
So
Ariel.
So I don't even know. To be honest, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Because I don't. Do we need to? Do you want to open all of them and try them?
Let's open as many as we can.
I would.
It's really funny because like the packaging,
Here,
you know what I mean? Everything's like a cartoon.
Give me your phone so I can record this for Della.
Okay, and then we have this drink. We're trying this craft cola made in Japan. Okay, so what in the world? For today's segment, we are trying Japanese candies. And we're gonna see how it goes. Obviously, we cannot read any of the labels. We don't know what they say. And so it's all a surprise.
Is it cold? Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
I'm helping Della out here
Okay,
with
are you ready?
I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
Let me give you a backstory. It was a really sweet gift because they know we're into Japan, especially Angel. He loves Japan culture.
Yeah.
And so, what were you gonna say?
We're weebs, is what I was gonna say.
I don't know what that means.
Weebs.
I don't want to be called a weeb.
You're a weeb, babe. It's people that like Japanese culture. It's just a thing, you know.
Okay. I don't like the name.
Okay, but I mean that's what that's what they call it.
I just don't like it.
Well,
I
go
don't
ahead
wanna
and
be
finish your
called a weeb.
thought.
That's it. Let's try.
Oh, that was your thought? Okay. All right. So
I'm reacting to your facial expressions.
I'm not saying anything. All right. So I want to leave this for last. This is cheddar cheese because it says cheddar cheese on it. So and
let's start
with something small.
candy. Let's start candy. Yeah.
Wow. You know, I didn't think about this. I was like, I have no idea what this says. It has a
Show it to them.
it has a tongue, a blue tongue. So I'm assuming this is like an airhead of sorts, you know?
Are we gonna? Oh, there's two. Okay, so we'll each do one.
Do one.
Okay.
Go ahead. Open it. All right, well, actually, you'll open one and I'll open one.
Okay. I'm just looking at the label.
Okay, I'm gonna open this.
Oh no, it's just one thing. But
Della, can you?
am I supposed to? Do I just go first?
Yeah, just take a bite out of it, and then give me the other. Is there more?
I won't.
You won't.
I won't. Oh, it's like gum. Right? No. What is it? It's a weird texture.
It's like a gum. It's like a gum. Like an airhead
That
kind of.
like dissolves it. Yeah.
Oh, now it's getting gummy. It's like blueberry flavor.
Mm-hmm. Ah, it's gum.
That's pretty good.
It's gum.
I think we started with the wrong thing. Now we have gum.
Well, we didn't know. It doesn't say gum. Okay.
Oh, okay. No, we're not gonna do this one. This is a tray of sugar where you pour it into something and then you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We'll do this one later. All right, let's do another one.
Those tend to be dangerous.
ASMR. This is, I'm pretty sure this is like Pop Rocks, I think. Bueno, ahí vamos. Here we go. This says...
Are you going to stick that with the other one in your mouth? You're just going to do both?
I don't know. Let's do another tongue one. What about this one?
Do you want to put it in here? What?
Let's do this one. Here we go. Guys, this is... we didn't really think this through, to be honest. We'll just do a few of these. This is, I think, this is gonna be like a warhead. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You know, like a sour. It's a Frankenstein-looking guy with like also with a blue tongue.
Okay.
So we're in the same neighborhood. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Did you swallow what was in your mouth?
No. I don't.
Okay.
All right, take it out. I'm gonna take it out.
What's happening?
Dude, we gotta try these, bro. There you go.
Oh, they're chewy.
Here, have another one.
It's like a mixture of like healthy and candy.
Healthy? How so?
It has like actual blueberry vibes to it.
Wow, this one's really good, man. It's like sweet, but not like too sweet.
Yeah, that's what I mean by fruit.
Oh, wow.
It's just gum too.
I think we...
I don't want more gum.
Did you keep the other one in your mouth too?
We need like a spit.
All right, we'll do one more.
Let's do the...
You pick it because...
Let's do the cracker thing.
Wow, this is really good, man. The which one?
That one. The little...
This one, the Pop Rock?
Let's try it.
All right, show it to the camera there.
Okay, here we go. I don't even know what's going on in this cover.
Yeah. It's like an explosion.
I guess that's the point,
I think we're
right?
supposed to describe what it tastes like.
Okay, here we go.
Did you take out the other one? You took it off?
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, these are like
Pop Rocks or no?
No. What are those things that you buy and they come like in a plastic and like a little plastic thing, twisty thing on both ends?
Oh, like I know what you're talking about.
They taste like that. And they have the same.
Smarties?
Yes. Let's do one more and we'll be done. And then we'll try the cola. What else we got there? Oh, I didn't do it right. Wait.
You missed it.
Am I just supposed to let it
So
sit?
it's a mixture of like Smarties and Pop Rocks together. No, you gotta get not the big ones, the little ones. There's little. I'm still popping.
Oh, yeah.
Literal. Oh, that one was really good, guys.
Okay.
I wish I knew what it says.
Can you do candy
Can
wrong?
somebody Google translate this? Huh?
Can you do candy wrong? Let's do one more and then we'll do the Coke.
Which one?
Whichever one you want.
No, I want you to pick it, babe.
I can see. Okay.
We'll do these later.
This looks not pleasant, so I'm gonna do this one.
It's a Coke. Look, it's got a Coke can, like a soda
Oh,
can.
it does say cola. Okay, let me see.
That's probably chocolate. That looks like it's chocolate. Show it to the camera.
Chocolate, we think.
This is a gummy,
Okay.
and this is some kind of.
Let's do this one. Let's try this one.
All right.
It's got two colors,
Oh man, I know 100% I'm gonna hate that.
so I'm just gonna go for the one that I
No,
seems more
you gotta.
familiar.
No, you gotta eat that. You gotta eat the. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh. Oh, I don't like candy like this. It's like that fatty, gooey consistency.
You mean a gummy?
Yeah, but like the gross kind. You have to eat it.
Oof. This one's rough. This one's rough.
You gotta eat it.
No,
Oh,
I got a piece already, bro.
okay.
All
Now
right,
let's
man.
finish
Let's
it off
just,
with this craft cola.
It doesn't taste bad. It's just the consistency is a little. Yeah, it's like a
Weird.
RC cola flavor. All right, we got
Okay.
some more to go, but we'll do that some other time.
All right, so
Show it
here
to
we
them.
have craftsmanship craft cola, made in Japan. Citrus and spices, original taste.
Citrus?
Okay, let's see. It's by Asahi.
Oh, Asahi. Yeah, it's the beer company. It's got to be good, bro.
Oh. Wow,
Okay, but can I try it or okay?
it's good. I like it.
It's like
And you can taste some of the citrus.
yeah, it's like I can't explain it.
Okay, so
You know, a lot
now
of this stuff we can't explain.
next time we go to Japan, we'll know more about candy.
Oh wow, this is
when
really
we
good,
go to
man.
the food mart.
It's like soda, but like really suave, like soft, and then a hint of citrus.
Yes.
Really great.
Good job, baby.
Wow, yay, we did it.
We did it.
We
Okay,
did it.
so Japanese candy is not awful. So you're safe, even though you don't know what the labels mean.
I don't think anybody said Japanese candies were awful, babe. All right,
it's just a little scary when you are.
When you can't understand what you're
eating, and their flavor profiles are so different from ours, you know.
Flavor profiles.
So I just, I was a little scared. That's gross.
Okay, yeah. I got it.
There we go. Nobody wants to see our chewed gum. All right, friends. I hope you enjoyed that little shenanigans.
Okay, let's take a break. Put Bandit on the screen to reset. All right, we're back. Thank you, Bandit. Appreciate it. Rest in peace. I was gonna be like this for my homies. You know when you throw it on the ground?
I don't.
Okay. My boys know.
Okay.
All right, babe, I'm ready.
Okay, friends. Well, today we are, like we mentioned, doing a relationship talk. So, baby, let's just talk about our relationship.
I feel like God is about to confront me with certain things.
So, where do you want to start? Any ideas?
Of where I want to start?
Yeah.
Well, we've spoken about a few aspects of our relationship. I think working together at the studio, running a studio together, and what that looks like, and sort of how we balance, or we try to balance our work and life. Maybe I was thinking we chat through what it's like at home, like when we're working together, or when you're working in a 9-to-5 or different place that you aren't necessarily maybe working together, but what that dynamic is like at home. You know, when I know we've been together, we keep talking about this, 12 years.
Yeah.
But married, really, it's 2016, so 8 years. This is our 8-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can share some of the struggles or some of the challenges. It's sort of how we overcame some of those challenges of balancing that. And even this is even before having a baby. Now that we have a baby, it's like a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, it's different.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't like the word balance. And I know we just say it. And I know you don't believe in actual balance.
Sure.
But I did want to clarify that we are actually...
What's a better way of...
Well, I like to describe it in seasons and rhythms. So I prefer saying the word rhythm.
I love that.
So, we look at our lives in seasons, because nothing is ever forever, even a low or a high, they're never forever. So we kind of bookend seasons by themes or something that we're prioritizing, or just like a common narrative in what we're experiencing. And then rhythm is really looking at your day-to-day, and rhythm means, there's a flow. Like, think of like your heartbeat. There's ups and downs, And so just adding some form of rhythm to our days to be able to accomplish what it is that we hope to, or we're aiming for, I think right now, the rhythm of our days are a lot more structured than they ever have been. And we require more help than we ever have, So I think our rhythm right now is we wake up, we have breakfast. We tend to have a little bit of family time, no more than 2 hours. Then Grace gets here, who helps with Avon. And she takes over from like 9 to 2. And that's when we work. So those are our work hours. And then once Grace leaves, it's like home mode again. And so we try to be very present in our home life from 3 to when Avon goes to bed. And we're flexible in that depending on what we need to do. Sometimes Angel has a deadline. Sometimes I have a deadline. And so we'll be flexible. One of us will take the lead with Avon. But we do try at some point to just come together, all of us, right before Avon goes to bed, to make sure that we're present with him, that we enjoy him for that day. We do our evening routine together. And then once he goes to bed, that kind of becomes our alone time. When sometimes we do things together, sometimes we do things separately, depending on our need for that day. So that's kind of the rhythm that we're in, and how I think we've been able to I was gonna say balance, but manage our day to day in the season that we're in as parents and as self-employed business owners, you know. But yeah, is there anything that you would like?
No, I love that. I think you hit it. Balance sounds like I get what people are trying to say is, hey, you should have a healthy balance in your marriage or fairness or whatever that may be. But rhythm is the right term, and it's such a beautiful way of describing it. Just because of even we were talking about yesterday. I'm like when we went to church Sunday. Yesterday. Yeah. How we're in different seasons, and then it's important to kind of see it sort of in third person, see where you're at in that season, or where you're at, what I call like in that episode of the season is like the overarching narrative or the overarching story, but every day or every situation is like an episode. So it's like stepping back and seeing where you're at objectively or in third person, or being self-aware of that is really important. So in that way you can give each other grace. That's like, well, Kary is in a season right now where, for example, VU conference, where she's going to be busy. That means I need to lean in more in this area, in that area. Now with Avon, now with our son, it's like I got to be even more aware of that and step in and fill in those gaps, and vice versa. You know, there's certain times where I may be busy with certain things that I need to do, where Kary can step in and just fill in those gaps for me. And I feel like that's what a partnership is like. Our marriage is supposed to be like, where you're doing life together as one. And it's cool because I feel like Kary and our relationship, we've been able to, I don't want to say like keep our individualities, but like be able to be our own person, but at the same time have one common goal and one common vision. And I just think it's really special. It's really special. It reminds me of the Numa series that I loved so much, and which was Pastor... man, I'm going to be correct in the comments. He was in Mars Hill Church back in the day, and he had this series called Nooma, Nooma, and one of the episodes was called Rhythm. And I think we had seen this together, and I'll put it I'm sure it's on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the description. But essentially, it talked about God and how when you're listening to him or when you're looking for his voice, God speaks. He is it an allegory, or is it like what do you call it? Like a metaphor of like God speaks in rhythms. And what he was saying was it was a really short video. What he was saying was that sometimes God is speaking, but he's in a different frequency. He is in a different tone. Sometimes we're sometimes too high or too low. So it's like, we got to find that rhythm. We got to find the tone. So we're able to listen and be in tune with what God is saying, which was really beautiful. And like he had this whole thing. It's these videos that are really, really powerful. But I love that. I love that for you and I, when we're doing life together, we're doing work together, it's important to be very self-aware and being to seeing where we're at in that particular moment, in that particular season. So how do you, and I don't know if you have any tab, but I wanted to ask you, how can you tell when you're out of sync with your partner? Or how would you tell if you and I are not in that rhythm or in that space? Yeah. And how can you tell, and how would you sort of try to adjust that?
Well, I think I learned that along the way. I didn't learn that in the very beginning. And I can give an example of that. But I know it now based on what we're prioritizing during our day. And even as micro as like a day-to-day already lets me know if we're in sync or if we're out of sync. So like, for example, one of the things that we've been intentional about, that we've talked about, is our presence with Avon. So our work is important to us. And when we're working, we want to be focused on work. And when we're with Avon, we want to be focused on Avon. But it's not even like prioritizing work or Avon. It's like Avon's part of our entire day. And we just allocate X amount of hours to work. And then after that, we try to be very present with him. And that's something that you and I have talked about. But even in the day-to-day, where like sometimes you may be like, I have something that I have to do. And then you're bleeding into, a 7 p.m. Like you're going to end at 7. That means that entire evening you weren't present with Avon. And so that's already like an out of sync thing. And that's not bad, because I think we've learned how to have conversations around that. And we've just learned how to communicate prior to, and not always, not 100% of the time, but 95% of the time, Angel will tell me, hey, I have to work late today, And so then I just accommodate, and he's back in sync tomorrow, or the next day, depending on how long he needs to do those things for. But it's already kind of an out of sync thing where we know we need to limit. You can't have like 2 weeks of that. And then unless it's something that warrants that kind of like attention on your end, but for the most part, because we've already established that we are going to be with Avon, especially in the evening, from these amount of, these hours, whenever we're both not present there, then that already tells me that we're out of sync. But in order for me at least, to be able to identify that misalignment, an agreement had to happen beforehand when we're on the same page. An example of this was early on in our marriage. I think we were 3 years into our marriage. And this is probably one of the lowest, I think, moments of our marriage where we were really on different pages, and it was hard for us to understand each other. And we got counseling to be able to understand why we were frustrated with each other. But I'm a very driven person, and I'm very driven by results. So I love what I do. So I love to work, but I also love to work because when I'm in an environment where I see results, where I'm thriving, like I prioritize that a lot. So when I was that season where I was doing part-time VU and part-time Acevedo, those 6 months, I prioritized work very much. And I didn't know this at the time, but I neglected Angel to a point where he was really upset with me. And as that was happening, personally, I don't know about you, I did not identify it as it was happening. It happened, like I was working all the time, literally all the time. I would get home and work. I stopped cooking. So that's when like our eating out started happening a lot more. I was just like, when it came to home life, I was just like not paying a lot of attention to it. And then I think at that point, besides feeling like neglected, there was a point there where you got in a car accident. And then you did not appreciate the response that I gave you when you initially called me, because I was at work. And you did not appreciate the response after the accident in terms of care, how you felt cared for. And when it came to doctor's appointments and going and getting medications, so I just didn't know that Angel would feel cared in a certain way, by me calling a doctor and helping him with his doctor appointment. Actually, it was worse than that. You got in a car accident and you messed up your finger, and we think you got a mild concussion from that. And then we went to the gym a little, maybe like a
month. Maybe.
You were already kind of
recovered. No, that week actually.
It was the same week with your messed up finger. We went to the gym. I don't remember the timeline.
It was the opposite. It was the gym first, and then the accident.
Okay. So Angel, we were at the gym. We were doing like this hardcore like sled thing. And those workouts were heavy where if you didn't pace yourself, it was easy for you to get dizzy. So he got dizzy. He ended up like fainting. He fell on concrete. He hit his head and he got a mild concussion from that. So he was going through a lot of stuff. And I just I didn't meet him at that level. And so that was one of those seasons where after it happened, when we would talk about it, because he would be like, you don't care about me. Like, you don't love me. Like, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm right here, He's like, but you didn't call a doctor's appointment for me. And I'm like, I didn't know that I had to call the doctor. So it was like just a bad communication where he didn't express what he needed from me. He was expecting things that he didn't communicate and that I didn't commit to. And then I was over here kind of like, oh, he's fine. I'm going to keep doing my thing, you know?
Right.
And so that was the season where
Oof.
we were not in agreement prior to, in terms of how we were going to tackle that season. And if it was a work heavy moment or months for us, we never had a conversation around what that would look like and what day nights would look like, or you know, it just, we hadn't experienced enough in our relationship at that point to know how to react to those things. So that's how I distinguish the two.
Yeah. And you know, wow, I don't know. We're going to talk about, that season was rough. That season was rough. And I think it was more because we weren't prepared. We had never been through anything like that. Right. And we weren't really prepared to know how we were going to react or how to give each other grace in that season, and to how to kind of go, I don't know, above and beyond. I don't know. I've never done that. I had never had a concussion before.
Yeah.
I've been in an accident, but that was a mess. And I think it was more so, I don't know if any of you have ever been concussed, but it really messes with your personality, and it messes with like, it really exacerbates. Is that the right word? Exasperates? I don't know how you say that, but it kind of amplifies your emotions. Is a better word. Yeah. It amplifies your emotions. And I remember that week I yelled at Kary for something really small, and it was because I couldn't manage my emotions, and that's when I said, like, you don't care, or whatever it was. And it was the calling the doctor or the appointments or whatever, it wasn't the thing. It was more so like I felt like I wasn't priority, or I wasn't,
like you were doing everything on your own.
Yeah, I was doing everything on my own. We went to the MRI with me and some of the other stuff, but I didn't feel like I was like supported, you know? Hey, do you want me to call for you or whatever? No, I'm a grown man. I can do that. But I was just jacked up. That week was really, really rough. But in retrospect, looking back, it was a conversation that we never necessarily had. We didn't anticipate it, that storm coming. And when it came, I feel like we weren't, or at least I wasn't emotionally prepared or mentally prepared to have those conversations and to talk with Kary about it. I feel like Kary is really good at reflecting on these things and pivoting, and she's just, the way she is on the show is the way she is in life. You know, she's like very like organized, and she likes to continue moving forward and pivoting where she needs to. But yeah, that was a tough situation. I feel like we came out of it, and
yeah, we learned a lot. A lot of what we do now came out of specifically that season.
Yeah.
Where we talk about things, we aim for agreement. I think our commitment level is a lot more clear in terms of, like, obviously we got married and we were committed to each other, but it's like on the day to day, that commitment needs to look a certain way. Cause yeah, you're committed long term, right? But what does that mean when Angel gets in a car accident and I have to drop everything at work, you know? And so that commitment in those scenarios look different. Even now, like, what's the commitment look like when we're trying to be healthy in a healthy relationship, and then be great parents as best as we can, and then be business owners, you know, and like self-employed and figuring that stuff out. So like, how do we commit to each other in all of those areas? Because the reality of the outworking of actual commitment is very practical. It's like behavior, doing specific things for each other. And so that season just taught us to communicate, to agree, and to have grace when we need to, because we've already kind of discussed the season that we're in, you know? And so like right now, you and I'm sure there's so much more like we can get clarity on where we are with each other, you know, and in our headspace and things like that. But we talk enough where I know where Angel is in his total headspace when it comes to him as an individual, as a business owner. Like, I know the things that he's thriving in. I know the things he's challenged in, and vice versa. So as we face the season that we're in of like, we're building, because we're building a home, you know, we're building a business, we're aware of where we are internally, to be able to navigate, commit, and then extend grace when we need to, pause or pivot, whatever, you know. So that season was definitely instrumental and developed, I think, our relationship a whole lot.
It did. Wow. And I think that's a really good example of being, I don't think at that point we were in any kind of sync. We were just like, because we were talking about the rhythm and being in sync.
Yeah, we didn't look at life that way. We were just, I was very reactive to, you know, what was in front of me. You know, like I knew that I loved Angel. I knew that I was committed to him. But again, I hadn't developed what does that actually look like on the day to day, you know? And I think every season is different, you know? We were young and things were a lot easier back then. I don't think we just never had a hardship where we had to define that stuff. But it also just happens, you know, it comes along the way. Like, remember when we first got back from our honeymoon and I went to take a shower and I locked the door and you freaked out?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, so even that is like an expectation that we got to talk about it. Do we lock the door or not? You know, and that was like, in your home, it's going to look different. And I know that's silly now, but now I don't lock doors in the house.
Yeah. And I remember, I think I blew up for no reason.
This is my house. Because I moved into his apartment.
Yeah.
This is my house. And I can't use the bathroom. And I was just like, hey, I'm just coming from my parents' house and I live with boys. So like I locked the door, you know.
It was honestly unwarranted. We were in a 1-1 too. It was
whatever.
Like, I think I had to like pee or something. I was like,
I know it's
how could I
know it's trivial now and it's stupid. But it proves my point that like a lot of these things that you have to figure out, they just happen along the way. It's not like you figure it all out in the beginning, you know. It's like you go through an experience, you have a convo, and hopefully you're committed to each other in a way where you're actually modifying your behavior so that there's longevity, you know, in play.
Right.
So Angel, earlier you had mentioned partnership. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
So partnership is like a ship.
Oh, here we go.
Right? You got a captain. I was like, what's the other one? The sailor.
Is not gonna work.
the assistant to the captain. Our marriage, I've always seen it like, we're gonna do everything 50-50, right? Fairness or whatever. If I know how to change a tire, Kary needs to know how to change a tire, right? I'm just saying that's how I was looking at it before.
Yes, you were.
And I was never like into roles, and I was never like, well, I'm gonna do this and Kary's gonna do that, and that's just what it is. Even though I was raised in, as a Puerto Rican Latino, gender roles, unfortunately, it's just a very big part of the culture, right? And how we're raised, and I don't know what it was, and I don't know when things started switching for me in my head that I'm like, let's just do what we're good at. Let's just do the best things that we can do within the relationship, and lean into that, you know. And again, give each other the grace where we're not as good at certain things. There's certain things that Kary likes to do, certain things that Kary doesn't like to do, certain things that I like to do, and things that I don't necessarily enjoy doing or I'm not good at, even though we're both equally as capable of doing the things, right? So when I say a partnership, and I feel like, you know, it's biblical that, you know, when you get married in the eyes of the Lord, it's like two become one, and you're just like one unit moving in one specific direction. And when I see us a partnership like ours, I see it more in that way. And I think I mentioned where it's like we're still two souls and we're still two individuals that have fears, that have vision, that have things that we want to accomplish as individuals. But together, we also have, as a unit, as a family, we have visions and we have missions and we have goals that we want to achieve. So as partners, it's like, it's our responsibility to nurture the main goal or the goals for the marriage. And if you're married and you haven't set goals for your marriage, or or spoken vision or talked through like what it is that we want to do with our time here on earth, I highly recommend that you do that. I think it's such an important thing. But again, within the partnership itself, it's like, I think it's my responsibility to help Kary, to propel Kary, to fill the gaps that Kary may have, to support her in whatever the dreams that she has. So it's not just as a husband, it's not just my dreams or the things that I want to do. It's Kary's dreams and the things that she wants to do. So as her husband, as her partner, as her friend, as her best friend, it's like that is my sort of responsibility, is to support her and to help her and lead her and guide her to where our home is going, but also to wherever she wants to go. And the same goes vice versa for her, for me. Like, her responsibility is to support me, encourage me, and to fill in those gaps for me, and but also help lead me in areas where I lack a lot. And there's a lot of different areas. Like, an example would be, I am from the old mindset of like, I work whenever I want to work. Whenever I'm inspired, that's when I work, right? Which works when you're 21 or 22, or when you're in school, and when you're like, and it's funny, I talked to Maz, and we went to school together, 3 a.m. It was like, we were crushing schoolwork and doing design work and DVR or whatever. This was like mid 2000s or like early about almost 2010s. And I loved that, and I thrived in that, and I did the cool work at that time. And even to this day, whenever it's like late and we want what I call like the fourth meal, Kary's like, oh, let's get Taco Bell or whatever. Don't judge us. It's like, let's get Taco Bell or whatever. And it reminds me of like the time when it was like 1 or 2 a.m. and I was hungry, and I would drive to the Taco Bell 117th and get my stuff, or whenever I would come back home and I would keep working. That's not sustainable, number one. Number two, it's unhealthy, really. You should just plan ahead. But when you're married and you're in a partnership and you have a spouse that you're doing life with, and now you have, eventually, if you guys ever decide to have little ones, that stuff is just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Even when you're inspired, even when you're like, it's like, you got to manage that stuff. So it wasn't until Kary set those boundaries where she's like, you know what, after this X amount of time, we're not working. I'm sorry for the clients. I'm sorry for this, that, or whatever. We're shutting down. And we're working tomorrow. It's nothing's ever urgent or that urgent that needs to be done right now. Everything can wait. And that was something that I learned from her. And it was annoying, to be honest. It was like, no, it's like, why can't it? It's a rebellious nature in me where I'm like, no, I don't want anyone telling me what to do when I can work. I want to work right now, But I'm really grateful that, because you're my partner in life, and you're able to kind of hold me accountable and make sure you give me perspective where I need to sort of, calm down, step back, and like, let's set some healthy boundaries on some of this stuff, So that's how I kind of see our partnership work, and at least in our relationship work, which is really good. I feel like filling in the gaps is probably one of the bigger things, where it's like, I think there's that analogy of like, when someone's in a hole, I don't even know. What's the analogy? When someone's in a hole, a good friend will kind of jump in the hole with you, kind of help you, propel you up. And I feel like that's what it's about, as in a relationship, or at least in a healthy relationship. And we're still learning. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's, I love hearing your perspective in terms of like, how you're saying, we're for each other basically, and like we prioritize that. And we've always been, that's something that hasn't necessarily been spoken out. I think we've naturally just always been that way, because we met each other as two pretty driven individuals. And then when we got together, it was one of the things we loved about each other, I think, the most. And so we always respected and nurtured that in each other. And so now it's like, how do we keep that part of ourselves alive while we take on more responsibility and we grow older, and we just don't have the same physical energy, even just having a baby, like sure, you can do a 1 time 3 a.m., but realistically with the way Avon sleeps, it's like not, we're not able to. And so I've just learned as I get older and I just take on more, that the more that you like organize and you identify, you label things, the easier it is just to manage it all. You know, it's like I get so, like, sometimes I feel like I'm a hamster in a wheel. Like, it's like never ending. Like, it's like I finish cleaning up and then it's like the toilet. We ran out of toilet. Now I got to go to the closet and restock the toilet. I got to take out the trash. Like, it's like all these stupid, annoying things that they just add up to all this stuff that you have to manage, you know? And so I've just learned that the more that you label things and you kind of categorize and organize as much as you can, the less you think about it and the more you're able just to take on, you know? So that's why I think in our lives over time, I've pushed for a sort of rhythm in our day so that we're able to accomplish the things that we're able to, just knowing, gauging just our capacity in the season that we're in, you know? And I did want to, you know, I think in terms of like partnership with Angel, like I do want to say, one, I want to talk about expectations, you know, because expectations were like a thing early on in our marriage too. Like, you had your expectations and I had mine. Like, I was like, my car needs an oil change. Like, that's like I'm not doing that, you know? And it's like, you cook, you know? And it was like, part of that was just the way that I grew up. My dad would take care of all that stuff. I remember early on, like the way that my dad was with me was an expectation that I carried into my marriage.
Right.
He took care of just certain things. I expected Angel to take care of those things. And he was like, this whole 50-50 thing. I'm like, bruh, I am not changing no tire.
One of them was, I am not going to the tag agency.
No. No. And
I was like, you gotta know how to, you know, renew your tag.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I totally agree with you in terms of like, we're fully capable adults, but I've just decided there's just certain things that I'm just not going to.
What's funny is that those expectations were not communicated to me until like the day of, you know. But
so yeah. But, you know, I think we've learned expectations are good, right? And we all have them. And you got to have, like, I have an expectation of our marriage, that it's going to go long, that it's going to be awesome. That's, you know, we're going to look back at it. We're going to see our children. We're going to be proud of them. Like, you know, I have those expectations. But all of that is attached to a commitment that we've both already done and we work on daily. It's not like this hidden expectation that I have that he's in disagreement with and it creates argument. You know, we've just learned from our early years in marriage how to reshape the way we look at even like an expectation, you know. And guys, we're human, you know, there's still little things that I'm like, I get so annoyed, you know, by little things that Angel does. And Angel gets annoyed by things that I do, you know, and it's like, it's part of the deal and you learn how to navigate all that stuff. But yeah, I think in terms of partnership, that's how we look at it from the very beginning. The outcome of each of our individual lives is very much, it will be a result of how we do relationship together.
Right.
You know, and the way we want to live the life that we want to have is very much dependent on our commitment and our partnership. And so we're very aware of that and we work towards that and we take it serious. So whenever one of us needs something, the other does their best to accommodate, you know, like if I'm saying, you know, the mornings, I would love to have quiet time, not keep the TV on. I don't want to watch news in the morning. Like I want the tone and the vibe of the morning to have a certain feeling. Angel does his best to respect that, you know, and I think because he sees how that can be beneficial in our lives. You know, if he has a disagreement, he'll tell me and we have a convo around it. And then we try to shape the morning routine that works for both of us. So that's kind of how we do the partnership thing and how we do the day-to-day and try to love each other, respect each other, before each other. And at the end of the day, realize that the most important thing is our relationship and that is priority number one. And we're going to do everything in our power to protect that.
Great. Wow. Good job. You know, one thing to note of something that Kary said is like the expectations that she has or that we have are always spoken. What's worse than that is unspoken expectations, things that you just expect people to do and you never even communicated that with them. And that, I feel like there's a lot of turmoil in relationships because of that. Because I think even going back to like the accident or whatever that we had that season, it was, if I was clear, so like, hey, look, I just had this situation. I really need you to lean in and help me out. Because maybe that's something that, let's just say whether it's something that should be natural or not, it's just something that should be discussed and something that we should talk about. Be like, I really need your help here, or really, it would be really good for you to step in, which I think God is really good with sharing that stuff with me and asking, or kind of bringing clarity to those sort of situations.
Yeah.
But
and the last thing I'll say regarding that is that to this day, him and I are different. The way we receive love is different, you know, but I have a much more understanding and awareness of the way that he receives love. And even though I personally don't perceive that as like love, I do it because that's how he perceives it. And in me doing it, it's like a sacrifice, and that at the end ends up being true love. So love is not like butterflies and this stuff. The love is like the act of sacrificially doing something for someone so that they feel lifted, you know? And so, for example, in that season, I learned the way that Angel likes to be taken care of. It's very much similar now. When he's sick, he wants you to bring the pills, the tissue, the whole thing, you know? And I'm just like, I just go on about my day. I'm like, you can walk to the, you know, but I intentionally, and it's not always easy for me. And depending on like how full my head is with stuff, sometimes I won't do it as diligently, but I'll do my best to like make sure that I grab things and whatever. And I've noticed that when I get sick, he just does all of that for me because that's how he perceives love. So he'll go to the store.
That's true.
He'll grab all the medicines. He'll stack me up with tissues. Like, I don't worry about a thing when I'm sick. But vice versa, I don't do that for him in the way that he perceives love. You know what I mean? So I've just learned like for him, it comes naturally and it's easy. For me, it doesn't. So, but I know that I should do it. And so in me doing it, it's like how I show love to you. And it's being in a relationship is that over and over and over and over and over and over again.
I never even realized that till just this second right now.
When I get sick, you're the best.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not saying about the best part. I just didn't realize that it was just, it was just automatic. Wow.
So man. I'm not like the way that I interpret love is acts of service and quality time.
Right. Quality time.
So it's not necessarily getting stuff. Like I'll go to a birthday and I'll show up without a gift because to me, it's like, I'm here, quality time, you know?
I'm the gift.
Literally. And then I'm like, shoot, I forgot to get a gift, you know? And it's like, you show love the way that you perceive love, that you received being loved, you know? And so, yeah, it's different for both of us and we don't change, you know? Yeah, the way you receive love could change subtly over time, but for the most part, you're still... yours is physical touch and words of affirmation. Still very much to this day. And quality time. He don't got to say a thing. He just needs to sit next to me while I watch TV and we are golden. You know?
She wants me to, let me say two things. One is, if you haven't done the love language test, you should do it.
Yes.
I'm sure many people already know about this, but Google the 5 love languages, do the test. It's really going to open up your eyes as to how you show love and receive love because most of the time they're different. They're different ways. But two is what Kary means by quality time is me not only sitting next to her and watching whatever it is that she's watching, but I have to pay attention to what she's watching. Like I can't be on my phone, I can't be on my computer, and
that's not quality time.
And I have to comment on what. So I have to have input.
That's a bonus.
Huh? That's a bonus. My commentary?
That's part of your personality that I've just grown to.
Well, I hate most of the stuff that she watches. So a lot of the times it's, my commentary is like, this is ridiculous. But anyway, I wanted to clarify.
There we go. He does it because he loves me.
Good.
All right.
Well,
any last words?
No, I think this is good. I feel like we could talk a lot more about there's a lot of aspects to, especially in our marriage, in our relationship. But I think we can probably do another part 2, part 3 on this. I feel like we've gone a good enough time, but hopefully you guys have found this valuable, and let us know how do you guys handle, how do you find the rhythm in your relationship? Is there rhythm, or maybe you disagree completely? Maybe there's another way that we just don't know about. I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Would love to know what that looks like for you.
Yes. Share them in the comments.
Put them in the comments.
We read your comments, so very much would love to know what you think and what's worked for you in your relationship. You know, we're in a season right now. We haven't been here right now, and so I think we're both being very proactive on the behaviors and the things, the way we look at life, you know, the way we think about what we're experiencing.
Right.
And so if something's worked for you, we'll read it. And if it's something that aligns with our value system or that we think could be beneficial, we'll most likely apply it.
Yeah,
that's just
absolutely.
the season that we're in.
Absolutely.
We're learning from other people, you know, that have done it better than us. So share those. And Angel,
great. Thank you.
I love you a whole lot. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Friends Day. Lord, here we go.
Add like hearts to this. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. What do you call it? Instagrams.
Yes.
Reel it or whatever.
Reel it.
I don't know. We love you guys a lot. Excuse me. And keep making beautiful things. And like always, the best things
are made in house. Have a good week.
See ya.
Thank you for joining Made in House. On your way out, if you would be so kind to follow, subscribe, and or like our episode in the relevant social media platforms. Feel free to share this episode with your colleagues. And, as always, keep making beautiful things.